So there's a few things. One, generally, the more different types of sensory input your brain gets, that higher level of brain activation you get. There's synergies between the different senses. So we have our proprioceptive sense, right, of where our body is in space that is internal to us. But then we have our visuals, we have our eyesight, we have our smell, we have haptic touch sensation on our inside our skin. None of these things, except for visual 2D, do we get through a screen. So we're losing a lot of that data. Now, possibly as a dancer that has so much experience on how the body moves, you can compensate it and maybe learn a choreography or something like that. But if you're looking to form an empathetic connection with your teacher, you're looking to form a deeper understanding of what's going on the emotional level, it's very difficult to get from a video because we don't have all these little cues that our brain is very used to getting and sort of needs to get. Maybe we'll change evolutionary if we're stuck in Zoom for the next decade, but hopefully not. So that's one thing. And the second thing is generally 2D data is different than 3D data. When we get 3D data, we're getting the depth perspective and are able to model that accurately. Versus when we're just in front of a 2D screen, we're sort of just need to guesstimate, right? We don't actually have that perspective of something moving closer to us. We're seeing a 2D thing getting bigger versus a 3D thing actually moving in 3D space. And for our brains, 3D navigation is incredibly important. It's probably the origin of our memory. If you look at the hippocampus, which is where the memories are basically formed, you find specific cells that are called place cells that are all about where your physical body is in space. So if we're getting into these virtual 2D things that are not really a space, we're not getting as much of that activation in our brains. So there's not a lot of research on this, but a little bit that, for instance, when you do learn things in VR, you're activating much more spatial memory and you can retain memory for longer too.
Very interesting.